Hi and welcome to GKL Leasing's video and how-to guide on plug-in hybrids. So driving through a big city like Bristol, you would have this car in E mode or full electric mode. So this is where the car will drive just unlike an electric car. We've got here, for your benefit more than mine, because I wouldn't really want to look at it whilst I was driving, tells you where the energy is going and coming from. So dial on the left gives you power output. And what happens is, as you pull away, as you can see, it's using power. That needle is not a rev counter, it's telling you how much energy and power you're using. So as you pull away, we're using about 20%. As we decelerate or brake, the needle swings into the green zone, and that tells you that the vehicle is then charging itself. So it's using kinetic recovery to put power back into the battery. And you can probably see it better on the large screen. When I brake, that power is going back into battery. Now you'll never recover as much as you use, because otherwise we would never need electricity power stations ever again. But it does give you an indication that you can recover some of the energy lost using the braking system. Now another mode you can put this car into is brake regeneration mode. Now at the moment we're driving in automatic regular D, and that's denoted on your dashboard in D1, D2, like a regular auto would, regular modern auto. What you can do is, with the stick, you put it back one stage, then on the dash it comes up with B3. B3 is brake regen mode. Now this essentially means every time I lift off the accelerator, the car will automatically use motor braking to put energy back into the battery. This means you can literally drive along, and if I lift off the accelerator, you can almost come to a complete stop. Not a complete stop, so don't get used to it, because otherwise you'll end up rear-ending stuff. But you can come to a crawl without touching the brake pedal. And once you get into this, it can be quite an efficient way of driving the car. So every time you can see the traffic situation slowing down, you can put it into brake regen mode and it will slow you down, charging the battery back to max whenever it can. So to charge the car, one of the places you can do it is a place like this with one of these. This is a 7.2 kilowatt Type 2 cable choices. Volkswagen's infinite wisdom. There's nowhere to put the cables except into these lovely bags, which then sit in your boot. But you've got to take them anyway. So this is the Type 2 cable. One end goes in the car, one end goes in the charger. This one we'll see later, which is your regular 3-pin plug to put in at home or at work or anywhere else. Bit awkward, you probably need 3 hands to do this. But that goes in there, that goes in there. Now, charge your car. Do two different ways of authorization to charge. One is by a card that you just press on there. The other is by an app. Just a quick word on fuel economy and what all the brochures say. They all say these cars will do ridiculous MPGs. The reason for that is because of the testing. Now at the moment we're driving in electric mode, and you can see on the big screen here that the MPG since start is rising all the time. So currently it's 122 MPG, and it will go up in a second to 124. That's because the car is assuming we're doing 300 miles to the gallon, And we're doing even better than that because we're not using anything to the gallon. But when you put this car into hybrid mode, press E mode, press it again, it comes into hybrid. Now at this point we're now using both the engine and the electric power pack. Now look what happens to the MPG on the big screen. So we got to 125 MPG, it's now dropping. If you look on the screen, now it's 122, and it'll drop 120. And we're not going crazy, we're doing 50 miles an hour, driving very lightly, but it is still dropping. Another mode you can put the car into is if you need to recharge your battery whilst you're moving, it's battery charge mode. Again, same button, push, go to the screen, press battery charge. Now what it's doing is using the engine to recharge the battery. Now in terms of energy efficiency and what you should and shouldn't do, this is probably the least efficient as it drives, because what it's doing is using the engine to both drive the wheels and to recharge the battery. So you do use quite a lot of fuel at this point, and you can see on the screen we're dropping faster now, so we're down to 107, and as we drop 106. The other thing it will do is, as I pull up to stop here, it will still cut the engine out when you're in stop-start traffic, so it won't keep the engine going all the time. So as we're driving the battery charge, what I'll do now is I'll put the car into regular hybrid, because we're on a dual carriageway. And when that screen will disappear. There we are. Now this is an E-range monitor. This will tell you the potential electricity that you're using and what affects it. Big example is the heating. So if we put the air conditioning on, you can see now on the screen that we've lost 8 miles of electric just by doing that. Now it's not to say that's exactly what we've done, it's just to say that's the potential of what we will lose. As I've turned it down, we're losing 3 miles. So the heating of the car has a huge effect, which was a big surprise to me, because I was always told air conditioning is the killer of fuel economy, when it's actually the heating system rather than the air conditioning that will do it more harm than good. Okay, now what we'll do, we're going to do a little bit of motorway driving and show you what the car's not particularly good at, which is long haul, long distance driving. They are designed for a more urban environment, and that's where they get their best real life fuel figures, as we've found out. So when driving on motorways, the car does perform well. At the moment we're in hybrid mode, so we're using both engine and electrical power. You can use electrical power up to 81 miles an hour, so it's no slouch. The only thing is that you will use it quite quickly. Then you have to put it back into battery recharge to recharge it as you're driving, or you can just drive it in hybrid. I've done both, and there's not a lot in it, and you tend to get around 50-ish to the gallon overall, which is not bad, but it's probably its worst thing it can do. I'd say it is much better around town. Service station charging. This is an electricity service station charge point, principally designed for rapid charging for full electric vehicles. And this is one of many rapid chargers that you'll find, mostly on service stations or other locations across the country. They usually have 3 different charging types. They'll have an AC connector, then I'll have two DC rapid charge connectors. One looking like that, and one looking like that. Some plug-in hybrids do rapid charge, not all of them do though, so check with your vehicle whether it can or not. The Golf doesn't, but be careful, if you use one of these stations, even if your car doesn't rapid charge like you could with this, you will still be charged, or potentially still be charged its rate as if you were rapid charging. Another mode you can use is GTE mode, which is just down here. Push the button, and then it instantly gives you both engine and electrical power at the same time. So if you need to overtake, or if you need to pull away quickly, it's what you can use. So also in GTE mode, it weights the steering differently, so the car feels a little different, and the suspension changes as well, so it gives you a more dynamic feel to it. Now we're driving in hybrid mode, we can get to see what the car does on its own. So at the moment we're just regenerating some energy back into the battery, and now we're using battery, but only use it to a point where it's efficient enough, and then it will switch into petrol. On the power flow meter you can see it goes orange, so they're using the engine to turn the wheels. As we back off, put it in brake regen mode with the stick. Now I'm not touching the brake at all. All this braking going on, if you see outside how slow we're now going, that's all been done through brake regeneration. So now we've gone down to 10 miles an hour and dropping, and I've not touched the foot brake. But all that energy has been going back into the battery pack from it. Once you get your hang of that, it's a really efficient way of driving it. Although, if you need to continue driving, stick again, put it into D instead of B again, and then you can coast until you get to the end where you need to get to. So now we're going to come down one of the largest hills in Bristol. Brake regen, we can get back into the car from going down this hill. So we're in drive at the moment. We're going to flick it back into B mode. The needle has now gone right round into the charge area. Again, I'm not using the brake pedal at all. Not at all. This is all just the motor regenerating. In fact, to the point where I've got to accelerate as opposed to put my foot over the brake. Whilst you're doing this, the brake light is going on, so don't be worried that you're slowing down really fast without anybody knowing behind. But again, around this corner, not touching the brake pedal, just letting the car brake regenerate on its own. Then again, I'm having to accelerate. Foot brake, around the next corner, not touching the foot brake, back into drive mode, and away we go. We added a mile to our range, coming down that hill then. So it just illustrates what you can regenerate using the car on its own. More information and leasing rates on this as well as other cars, go to gkluk.com or Westwood Leasing.